Neuroscience. The brain is the most complex organ in the body. The human brain is the most complex organ in the body. It is responsible for controlling our thoughts, emotions, memories, and movements. It contains over 100 billion neurons, which are specialized cells that transmit information throughout the brain and body. Each neuron can have up to 10,000 connections with other neurons, forming intricate networks that allow the brain to process information and control our behavior. The brain is also divided into different regions, each with its own specific functions. For example, the prefrontal cortex is responsible for decision-making, while the hippocampus is involved in memory formation. Despite years of research, the brain remains one of the most complex and mysterious organs in the body. Neuroplasticity allows the brain to change. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to change in response to experience. This means that the brain can reorganize itself and form new connections between neurons. Neuroplasticity is a fundamental property of the brain, and it occurs throughout our lives. For example, when we learn a new skill, such as playing an instrument or speaking a new language, our brain undergoes changes that enable us to perform the task more effectively. Neuroplasticity also plays a crucial role in recovery from brain injury or stroke. In these cases, the brain can form new connections to compensate for damaged areas, allowing patients to regain lost functions. The brain generates electric and magnetic fields. The brain generates electric and magnetic fields that can be measured using specialized equipment. These fields are produced by the electrical activity of neurons in the brain. When neurons communicate with each other, they generate electrical impulses that create a small electric field around them. These electric fields are too weak to be detected by the human body, but they can be measured using electrodes placed on the scalp. This technique, called electroencephalography, EEG, is commonly used to study brain activity. Magnetic fields are also generated by the brain, and they can be measured using a technique called magnetoencephalography, MEG. By measuring these fields, scientists can gain insights into how the brain processes information and controls our behavior. The brain uses chemical signals to communicate. Neurons communicate with each other using chemical signals called neurotransmitters. When an electrical impulse reaches the end of a neuron, it triggers the release of neurotransmitters into the synapse, which is the small gap between neurons. The neurotransmitters then bind to receptors on the next neuron, transmitting the signal from one neuron to another. There are many different types of neurotransmitters, each with its own specific functions. For example, dopamine is involved in reward and motivation, while serotonin is involved in mood regulation. The precise balance of neurotransmitters in the brain is crucial for maintaining normal brain function, and disruptions in this balance can lead to mental illness. The brain is divided into two hemispheres. The left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. Each hemisphere is responsible for controlling the opposite side of the body, and they have different functions. The left hemisphere is often referred to as the logical hemisphere, as it is responsible for language, logic, and analytical thinking. The right hemisphere, on the other hand, is often referred to as the creative hemisphere, as it is responsible for spatial reasoning, creativity, and intuition. While each hemisphere has its own specific functions, they work together to enable us to perform complex tasks. The brain controls our emotions. The brain plays a crucial role in controlling our emotions. The limbic system is a group of structures in the brain that includes the amygdala, hippocampus, and hypothalamus. These structures are involved in processing emotions and regulating the body's responses to them. For example, the amygdala is responsible for detecting threats and initiating the fight or flight response, while the hypothalamus regulates stress hormones such as cortisol. The prefrontal cortex, which is located at the front of the brain, is also involved in emotion regulation. It plays a role in decision-making, impulse control, and empathy. Disorders of emotion regulation, such as depression and anxiety, are associated with changes in brain activity in these regions. Neurotransmitter imbalances can cause mental illness. As mentioned earlier, neurotransmitters play a crucial role in brain function and behavior. Imbalances in neurotransmitter levels have been implicated in a variety of mental illnesses, including depression, anxiety, and schizophrenia. For example, low levels of serotonin have been linked to depression, while high levels of dopamine have been linked to schizophrenia. Many drugs used to treat mental illness, such as selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, SSRIs, and antipsychotics, work by modulating neurotransmitter levels in the brain. The brain is active during sleep. Contrary to popular belief, the brain is not offline during sleep. In fact, the brain is very active during sleep, carrying out important functions such as memory consolidation and neural repair. During REM, rapid eye movement and sleep, which is the stage of sleep when most dreaming occurs, the brain is particularly active. Brain imaging studies have shown that different regions of the brain are activated during different stages of sleep, suggesting that sleep is a highly orchestrated process. Exercise can improve brain function. Exercise has been shown to have a variety of benefits for brain function. For example, exercise has been shown to increase neuroplasticity, promote the growth of new neurons, and improve cognitive function. Exercise may also be beneficial for treating neurological disorders such as Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease. The mechanisms underlying the effects of exercise on the brain are not yet fully understood, but it is thought that exercise may promote the release of growth factors that stimulate brain cell growth and survival. Brain-computer interfaces hold promise for the future. Brain-computer interfaces, BCIs, are devices that allow direct communication between the brain and a computer or other electronic device. BCIs work by detecting the electrical signals generated by neurons in the brain and translating them into commands that can be used to control external devices. BCIs have the potential to revolutionize the way we interact with technology, and could be used to restore function to people with disabilities such as paralysis. While BCIs are still in the early stages of development, researchers are making rapid progress in this field, and it is likely that we will see more applications of BCIs in the near future.